In this video, I'm going to be going through the first Mendelssohn excerpt for the 11-12 bass audition. There's a lot of fun challenges in here to overcome, so I'm going to go through a couple of my thoughts before I start doing any playing. First thing, we've got a couple notes that are not going to be on your standard instrument. These are low Ds. If you have an extension, which is very uncommon around here, you can play those notes, but otherwise we're going to need to change the octave. So in the first line of this example, in the fourth measure, I'm going to change not one, but two notes. The third note and the fourth note, I'm going to bring up one octave. So what is written on the page would be with a low D down there. Instead, to accommodate for not having an extension, octave up for those two notes. And it's going to be the exact same thing in the first measure of the following line. I am going to bring the E back down the octave. Okay? I've made a couple bowing changes in here for myself, just the way that I prefer to play these. In the third measure of the second line, when we have this scale starting on A, I like doing double down bows there. Down, down, up, down. This is not a true pull and lift situation. You're not going, because you want to have some length on this eighth note at the beginning of that little passage. So I actually do I play it and then I just stop the bow and restart for the 16th. So ba, da, 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 da. So no lift, but it is a double down. I do a similar thing in the third measure of the third line when we've got this quarter note G and then eighth notes moving upwards. So this is a little bit different. I'm going to use lots of bow on this quarter note, length, and then I'm going to be in the middle of the bow. These eighth notes don't have dots on them, so I'm going to have a little bit more length to them. And I'm getting shorter as I get to the top of this little passage because we want to lead into that E. So I'm going to play this closer to tempo so you can understand what I'm talking about. So I'm using my bow to increase interest by moving from a smoother sound to a more bounce sound as I get to that E. And that's working with that double down sound. Again, not a lift, but you play, stop the bow, continue playing. I'm going to play this whole excerpt now at a slower tempo. Quarter note equals 132 is very fast, so don't feel ashamed if you don't make it all the way there. Judges are going to want to hear you play with excellent intonation, with excellent articulation. The people that are always in the top of the section are the ones that have the clearest, most beautiful sound. Okay, tone is the most important thing we can do here. remembered a couple more points that I wanted to make. I do another double down in the last measure of this example. Okay, I don't like doing 16th note passages backwards. The other point to make is in the second measure of the second line, we have A, C sharp, and E. The most predictable thing to do would be to go. What you run into with that string crossing, one, rhythmic inaccuracy. Being that precise with a string change on 16th notes in a repeated figure is very challenging. Two is just tone issues. There is a difference in sound between the A string and the D string on almost any instrument that you will play. So you could hear from behind a curtain, oh, they are changing strings when they play that passage. My way around this is using my left hand technique to take care of those issues. So I've chosen to do this all on one string so that I don't have the possibility of rhythmic inaccuracies. All of that burden falls to my left hand. So what I'm doing is a slight pivot. I'm going to put my first finger on C sharp, and then I'm doing a pivot for fourth finger E, and this happens really fast, and it kind of looks like I'm stretching my hand, but I want you to think of this as a pivot, this quick movement between these positions. Okay, this way I can control my rhythm, and I know that I'm getting a consistent tone from a single string. Okay, I'm going to go through and play this closer to tempo. I may not be all the way to 132. So I had a couple slip-ups in there, but hopefully this will give you a relatively good guide of how to navigate this very challenging excerpt.